right, what is up? What is going on, folks? And welcome into another edition of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike. I will be your host this evening, just as every other evening, and we have another jam-packed episode tonight, as I always say. So why don't we jump right on in? Here's where you can find our show online. If you are interested in such things, the first place would be our website, which is ahpod.com. You can also find us on YouTube and Facebook. Just search for America's Hometown Horror, and you shall find us. We're also on Twitter at Hometown Horror and on Instagram at Hometown Horror Pod. And you can shoot us an email at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And as always, a reminder that we're now a member of horrorfacts.com. If you are not familiar with horrorfacts.com, you need to be if you're a horror fan. It's a great resource for all things horror, including news, reviews, and, as I mentioned, podcasts such as ours and many other stellar horror podcasts. And, of course, I am always joined by co-hosts, and tonight I have two co-hosts with me, Matt and Andrew. We have no Cat. What's up, guys?
Hello.
How are you?
We're good.
What's
Good
happening?
evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
What's good?
Hey, Cat, how are you? Good. Good contribution.
I
There
really
you go.
think she just didn't want this movie.
It's absolutely possible. So Kat is not here because she had a very busy week at work and did not have time to watch the movie. And I actually can appreciate her honesty that she didn't think she was going to have time to watch it, so she didn't want to come on the episode and not contribute much. Which, if you're a listener, it's debatable whether or not she contributes very much anyway on most episodes. It's okay. It's all right. She's my wife and one of my best friends, so I can bust her balls. And Andrew busts her balls way more than I do
in
on this
fairness,
show.
I did pick this movie a week ago.
You did, and
So, plenty of time.
and Kat chose not to watch it and not to be here. So I think you have a right to be a little upset.
Boo!
Boo indeed. Boo
She didn't
indeed.
want to do another Andrew pick.
Maybe.
Like a Gene pick.
Maybe so. A Gene pick.
Gene's trash.
I like foreign movies, and even I was a little intimidated.
I was a little intimidated,
too. Oh, this might be a little over the top.
I have to say though, and we'll get more into it when we get into the movie discussion. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie.
It's very interesting.
Wasn't quite my cup of tea, but I definitely enjoyed it for what it was, for sure. At least in my opinion. All right, so now's the part in the episode where we talk about some news and things we've been watching. And I guess for news first, before we go into what we've been watching, guys, big week next week. The Black Phone drops next Thursday.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
I cannot wait to see that movie. So we're recording this on a Tuesday, which means it'll be out on a Wednesday. If you're listening to this, it's on a Wednesday. The movie premieres next Thursday night, which means it would be a little tough to do next week's episode on the Black Phone. The following week, though, I think will be on the Black Phone. So we need one more episode between now and then, which
I'm ready to go back to the end.
I'm sure we can.
Crimes of the Future, I think, is going to be out too.
Yes.
The Cronenberg movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see that.
Heard
I might
lots of
double
good
down.
things about that. But I'm very excited for the Black Phone. It premiered at a bunch of film festivals a while back, got great reviews.
I feel like it's been
I think it looks awesome.
almost coming out for. This was a COVID paused movie, right?
Yeah, and it was
yeah,
it was
so-
even delayed. It was supposed to be out, I think, in like either March or April, and it was delayed since then as well. Not even COVID-related stuff, but
Yeah.
can't wait for that. If you're not familiar with that movie, it is based on a story by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son. It is directed by Scott Derrickson and written by, I believe, C. Robert Cargill, and they are the team that is behind Sinister.
To say, yeah.
So if you're a fan of Sinister, there's a good chance that you're going to be a fan of this
Huge
movie.
fan.
Andrew's a huge fan of that movie, and I believe they actually have said in interviews this is kind of almost like a spiritual sequel to Sinister.
That's probably why I like Ethan. I'm pretty sure I feel like that's his best role outside of.
I think he's going to be better in this movie than he was in
Sinister?
Sinister.
Did you guys ever see Deliver Us from Evil with Eric Bana and
Sounds very familiar.
Joel McHale?
I have not.
Really? That's a what's his name? Derrickson.
Scott Derrickson. Yep.
He did that movie, and it's actually it's okay, but it's got some good jump scares in it.
I know he also directed the first Doctor Strange movie. He directed The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
That's an underrated movie, too.
It
I
is.
forgot about that one. Yeah, that movie is actually.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that movie, and I can't wait to talk about it after we see it. Hopefully it lives up to all the expectations that we have for it.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, Andrew, I know that you have been trying to avoid trailers for new movies. Did either of you guys see the newest trailer for Nope that dropped last week?
I did. I purposely
You avoided
did not watch it.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
It definitely it gives away not a ton, slightly more of the plot of the movie, about what it's going to be about. So I will leave that spoiler free for you guys.
Appreciate it, because that's coming up close. What's that, July?
July. So a couple weeks.
Right there.
We're almost
coming.
in
It's
July.
almost
We're in
there.
mid-June.
That's
right
got to be my most anticipated
I
movie to
can't
come out
wait.
for the year.
That and the new Hellraiser.
Yeah, I know.
And
You're
Salem's
excited for
Lot.
that one. Salem's Lot,
Oh,
I
I
can't
forgot
wait
about
for
Salem's
too.
Lot.
It's in September.
It's a good time for that.
Also, I know another movie that you're very excited for, Matt, also dropped a teaser last week. Rob Zombie's The Munsters. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
It's going to be goofy. I mean,
Yeah.
Rob Zombie I'm very hit or miss with in the first place. Because he's definitely put out some really dog shit movies. But he's put out some pretty solid horror movies. And I think this will just be kind of a fun romp.
I think so, too.
So, hopefully I don't know. Hopefully it's not just, like, dumb as hell.
It'll be a good romp.
Yeah.
A romp zombie. I see what you did there. I think he has, and I've said this before, that he has too much reverence for the source material to fuck this up. I really think that he was vetted out, and they pretty much told him, "Hey, you can't be having like all kinds of crazy, weird Rob Zombie shit in this movie. I think you need to do a Monsters movie." You know,
you gotta chill out with the strippers
Yeah.
and the.
Which it's funny because so I believe this is a Universal Pictures movie.
Yeah.
Universal did give Romp Zombie, Jesus Christ,
There it is.
Rob
Yes.
Zombie his start. And actually, believe it or not, House of a Thousand Corpses was a haunted house at Universal Studios Hollywood before it was actually a movie.
Oh, before?
Oh, that's
Yes,
cool. I
and
didn't
then
know
Rob
that.
Zombie
Wild
turned it into
stuff.
a movie. So they took a chance on Rob Zombie, and here we are now.
Did he have like he was a part of the haunted house, or did he like get the inspiration to make the movie from that?
He was the mind behind the haunted house,
Okay.
and he also turned that concept into.
What
the
did that end up coming out through? The movie MGM.
I believe it was Universal. I thought
don't think
maybe
it's
maybe it
Universal.
was something
Yeah.
else, but I know that Universal did initially take
Would
a
that be a
chance.
Lionsgate, maybe?
I want to say it was like in that Lionsgate
Yeah, that was
realm.
right in their heyday.
I'm not positive though. I don't know. It
Seems
could have
about
been
right.
Universal.
Seems about right. I don't know 100%, so I can't say for sure. So I will say that you're probably correct, Matt. Pretty knowledgeable.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah. So in terms of watch list, I will say I have failed to finish Stranger Things 4 as of this recording.
Well, we never thought you were going to.
I have one
So
episode
why?
left. I have
Oh,
one episode
baby,
left,
there you
and
go.
it
Get
is
ready.
it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal so far. And Andrew, I could not agree with you more when you said that it's very horror, because it is. This is the most horror the show has been so far.
100%.
Yeah.
amazing.
So I can't wait
getting
to see where the
excited
last
for it.
episode goes. I can't wait to see where the new episodes go when they drop in July. So July is an exciting month for horror. Matt, I know you said that you and Sarah started watching the whole series from the beginning. Are
Yeah,
you still doing that?
Yeah, we're done with season 1,
Excellent.
so we're on to season 2.
Oh, you guys are flying.
Yeah.
So
We
like a
we
week
had
ago?
like 2 nights where we just crushed like 4 episodes. One night we had to go. I had to rewatch one because I was a little turned up. That was Saturday.
Turned up.
So I was like in and out of falling asleep. It was late, and so we rewatched it. But yeah, no, we
can
ripped
all
through.
appreciate
I've seen the
falling
first
asleep
season
while watching
before.
stuff.
Yeah,
That happened. That happened to me last Friday. We spent a better part of about 4 hours at Andrew's brother's pool, drinking and grilling food.
And it
I
was
went
like 80
home.
degrees out
Yeah,
all
it was
day.
beautiful. I was pretty buzzed when I got home. I continued to have a couple of drinks, and Kat was watching for the first time the new Texas Chainsaw sequel. She wanted to watch it, so I watched like 3/4 of that movie with her, and she was just like, "What is this?" I was like, "Yeah, I know." And then we watched like an episode and a half of Stranger Things, and I was like dozing off.
Yeah,
So
it
I was
was-
like, "Eh."
if they're the new ones, that's
Yeah.
like 2 movies. Anyway.
Quick
Yeah,
side
exactly.
note,
Yeah.
a little food related. If you ever want to make a great smash burger,
Oh, yes, Andrew, yes.
we did it on leftovers. I did them on leftover like cinnamon buns, like the grand
Yeah, I saw
cinnamon
that.
buns. Oh, so
That's a
good.
while.
Yeah, so-
he sent me that
so
snap.
good.
I was like, "What was
Dude,
that?"
That was awesome.
so good.
So, by the way, so where we were, Andrew's brother, Seth, who's been on the show a couple of times, he just got a new house, has a pool. He bought one of those Blackstone grills that has like, it's
Love
like the
'em.
Yeah, that thing
like
looks
flat
sweet.
top griddle. My God, perfect for smash burgers.
I mean, if someone wants to, have us advertise, we could do it for.
I'll take a
Blackstone.
free grill.
Yeah.
I don't have one yet, so
We don't need money, just a grill.
just a grill.
Just a
That's
grill.
fine. I'll whore myself out for
Yeah.
a grill, 1,000%. I did also watch one other movie that I want to talk about before I defer to you guys, and I promise I'll shut my mouth and I'll let you guys talk about some stuff.
What we got?
I don't know if you guys have seen this movie before, but I really enjoyed it. It's from 2016. It's called Beyond the Gates.
Oh,
No, but I
love
saw you
that.
post this
Awesome
yesterday.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
is that the
so
movie with the video
good.
like their dad goes
Yes,
missing? That movie is
yes.
absolutely phenomenal.
So
Okay.
I
I
would
gotta check it out.
almost
Yeah,
kind of
so
compare
80s.
it to like a horror version of Jumanji almost.
Okay.
But it's a parody of, do you remember, Matt? I know you're younger than Andrew and I. The VHS horror games that came out in like the 90s and the late 80s where you had like the board, but you put a VCR tape in the TV and you actually played along with the instructions from the tape. And it was like, dude, there were so many of them. I forget some of the most popular ones, but it's based on it's based on that type of stuff.
Damn, dude.
So like the dad, it's two estranged brothers. Their dad owned a cult video store that kind of like went by the wayside, much like Blockbuster Video and all video stores of the 90s. And they're kind of called back together because their father has gone missing, and they discover that he had been playing this game at the time that he went missing. So they start playing the game to try and figure out what happened to him, and it's awesome. And the person on the videotape is Barbara Crampton. Oh, it's fucking
course.
dope. It's so good, Matt. You got to watch it.
I will.
What
You'll
was that
love
on?
it. I rented it on YouTube. It was like $3.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie available for free on any.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
weird. But yeah, I forgot about that movie. That movie is so underrated.
It's
It
really
kinda-
cool.
And it like when it gets going, it kind of reminds me of like the video game like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, like with like the weird stuff that they do and stuff. It's
Yeah.
which is
Apparently, there's a sequel being made, but the movie came out in 2016. I saw the last update on a sequel was like in 2018, so I don't know if it's still in development, if it's still happening. I don't know, but yeah, Beyond the Gates, it's well worth your time. I mean, Barbara Crampton is famous for a reason. She's in a bunch of horror shit, and she's really good in this as the person.
it's got plenty of cheese too. Don't,
She still
don't-
looks-
Don't worry, there's a lot of cheese.
Oh, yeah,
I was
Lot-
looking
lot
at it
cheese,
on
which
IMDb.
is
It looked
good,
like it.
yeah.
She still looks fantastic.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way,
She's
Great.
beautiful, gorgeous.
Always.
That's what I did for
Nice.
the last week. Stranger Things 4 and Beyond the Gates and Tumbbad, I should
Yep.
say. Mr. Audette, what about you? I know you always have some good stuff to drop on us.
I got a couple cool ones. I do want to say, just because we were talking about the VHS thing, I had to stop myself this week from buying online a small VHS TV and a random lot of 80s horror. Yeah, distant cousin, he has a bunch of old VHS. Big, huge horror collection, video game stuff. He's got a YouTube channel. He's kind of into a lot of the same kind of stuff. Lives wicked far away.
Okay.
But he actually convinced me to sign on to the In Search of Darkness Part 3 full thing. So we're both going to have our name in the credits when that comes out, which is fucking
look
sick.
at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's moving up in the world.
But so I have a couple watches. They're actually foreign movies, so I stayed on par with our theme this week.
did?
The first one I was actually excited about, and it's so I always get confused when like movies get released at Cannes festivals and like this, that, and the other thing, because it's like that may have went to that festival in 2019, but it wasn't available here until now. So I kind of say like it was released now. So technically this came out in 2019. So
Right.
Gaspar Noé.
You love Gaspar Noé.
I really do.
You really do. Yeah.
Who with I've talked about before, I Stand Alone, Irreversible, Climax. This movie is called Lux Aeterna, and it's a short film. So it's about 50 minutes long, and it stars Beatrice Dalle, who is in the French extreme movies Inside and Trouble Every Day, which are fucking brutal movies. So unless you're trying to see some extreme hardcore gore and read French subtitles, then don't watch it.
Stay away.
And Charlotte Gainsbourg, who was in a plethora of Lars von Trier movies, including Antichrist, Melancholia, and both of the Nymphomaniac movies.
Okay.
Antichrist is also very brutal. I haven't seen the other three, but Lars von Trier is a maniac. So
He also did How's the Jack Belt, right?
Correct.
The one I know you always talked about that. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so basically, what this movie is, real quick, is that it's these two actresses, and they're kind of on set of a movie talking about witchcraft and bad experiences they've had with shooting movies and burning witches at the stake. And then it kind of goes into like this split screen thing where you're watching a few different things happen at once. And then they're basically shooting a movie about witches and burning, and the scene they're trying to shoot is them burning them at the stake. And they have Charlotte Gainsbourg is the one in the middle, and as they're shooting it, all of a sudden all the background cuts out, and it's just these strobing lights for the last like 15 minutes of the movie. These like red, green, and blue strobing lights nonstop. and this like crazy like industrial warehouse fire alarm noise. And as everyone's trying to figure out what's going on, people are like losing their shit. Like the actresses, like the other ones are like literally like they're like, I can't hear anything, and they're like getting fucked up. I was like waiting for one of them to have like an epileptic episode.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like insanely bizarre, and it just does not let up. And so then it ends, and so it was just definitely a big art piece kind of deal. Like I said, it's 50 minutes long. There is a warning at the beginning that says if you have epilepsy, like you're count yourself out. You can't watch this.
Okay.
Crazy little short movie. And there's like a tidbit that happens in the middle that kind of adds to how intense and just scary the outcome is at the end, because she kind of just like loses her touch a little bit, and she's dealing with something very traumatic outside of the production with her family. So that was a tidbit. Another movie is called The Feast. This is by Lee Haven Jones.
No, you were texting us about this.
Yeah, so this was interesting because I saw an ad about it on Facebook yesterday, and it was on Hulu. So I was like, all right, cool, perfect. It's the language is Welsh, which I guess is specific to Wales and Patagonia. So this like little isle, and basically this one was a perfect folk horror. I actually really, really enjoyed this. I recommend it. It was basically a metaphor for Mother Nature being angry at the people who are mining for like fossil fuels. So basically this family is having this dinner where they're inviting a business partner and these two friends who own a farm who ultimately they want to go and like frack their land. And they invite this girl who works at the husband's pub, who also owns a pub, and they have her as their like server to prepare the food and serve to their guests. And she is playing basically like this like Mother Nature type supernatural. I don't know. It was kind of like bizarre, but ultimately she's taking down them, like all of them one by one.
Okay.
In very gruesome and just over the top ways. It reminded me. There's elements that reminded me a lot of the movie Raw.
One of Andrew's picks.
That movie.
Yeah, and it had a lot of other like folk horror elements for sure. Very violent, very gross, and just like bizarre, cringy, like painful even.
Shock
for
horror.
sure. There's some very physically painful things that you watch happen that you yourself would be like, ha.
Yeah.
So it's rough, but it was very well done. Quick 90-minute flick on Hulu.
Okay.
Again, it's in subtitles, but
Okay.
those
Well,
are my two big watches.
I have to say, and no offense to you at all, that sounds on par with what you like.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that you that you watched that. I have to say.
It was well done. It was good. I liked
Excellent.
it. So.
Okay. Excellent. Anything else, Andrew?
So I watched a Matt pick this week. Matt recommended watching Alligator.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
And let me say, I was not disappointed. Everything I dreamed it would be, hoped it would be, and so much more. Like, I was surprised at actually how good, like, it actually was. I was expecting this cheeseball movie. And don't get me wrong, it was very cheeseball, but it was actually very well done. Like, great story, entertaining, great monster.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's technically it was one of those movies that followed Jaws. That's supposed to be like a Jaws,
think
like
it's supposed to be a
satire,
spoof,
parody, like spoof.
It didn't feel like a
parody.
spoof to me, though.
Yeah.
It felt like I thought it was entertaining the entire time, like, which a spoof can be, but it was really well acted for that type of movie.
It's not very funny.
No,
Like,
it's,
it's just, you know,
that's why it was like
yeah.
it's not a spoof. Like I feel like they were trying to be serious.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the last time I saw Alligator was like on the USA Network when I was probably 10 years old in like 95 or 96.
Oh wow.
And that movie scared the shit out of me. So I actually can't wait to
I
see
was
it.
this
I
close
can't
to
wait
putting
watch it
Alligator
again.
2 on right after I watched it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if is Alligator 2 any good.
I didn't watch that one yet.
I don't know if
It was
I've
like
seen
it came out in
Alligator
like
2.
'91,
Yeah.
so it was like well after this one.
The cut of it is like excellent. It's in great shape. And that was like one of the things that Shudder had mentioned was that like for the first time in a long time do we have a like real good print movie to stream.
Good production
Yeah.
value.
Yeah. So
Honestly, what I'll say too, and I listened. I know I think we might have talked about this before, but there's a great episode of Colors of the Dark. I know you're a fan. You listen to them, Matt, with Rebecca and Elric.
with the creators of Shudder.
Yep, creators of, with the curators of Shudder, and like how they come to acquire these films, and like they seek out like good actual cuts of films that are rare. And it was funny because I sent that think piece about Alligator that was on Bloody Disgusting a few days ago to our group chat that we have, and you were like, Yeah, that's because it's out on streaming for the first time in like forever.
Yeah.
So now everyone's talking about it. I was like, you know what? You're absolutely fucking right. That makes total sense. So I gotta watch it. I digress. Continue, Andrew.
I also watched a 1970 movie called The Devils.
Dude, I'm
directed
so
by
happy
Ken
you
Russell.
just said that because
Why
I
did
was
you-
just gonna bring that up.
Really?
Too. Yeah.
So I watched, and I was like, because I was like, it's like one of the most controversial films of all time. And I was like, I gotta. And it was, I can see why it was very controversial because there was a lot of weird shit in this.
Non-orgy.
Non-orgy, and then him having sex with like this real, like the. So it's like this, it's like a historical fiction. So it's based off of this Roman Catholic Pope, or what is he?
Cardinal.
He's
or
a
something.
cardinal.
Yeah.
And his possession. He's having sex with a really young girl.
Sex in the
movie.
Catholic Church.
And it's
Yeah.
like
You don't
really,
They
like,
get married.
Yeah, they get married, and because she's pregnant, and it's just
Yeah. All the like big time like
and like
traditional
nobody,
Catholic
yeah,
no-nos.
yeah, like it was just
Yeah.
like, but it was like, yeah, this is pretty much what's been going on centuries like that.
Yeah.
And it
Being
was,
being raised Catholic, I'm not
It
surprised.
wasn't a bad. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it
It
was
is good.
definitely,
It's
it's
confusing.
definitely confusing, and
Yeah.
it's very old.
Ken
So
Russell.
you can lose, like I can see like you kind of getting bored with this movie in a way, but it's worth a watch. I mean, 1971. That seems like, I don't know, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so to
Because it was.
be putting out a movie like this then is so amazing because like nobody wanted to pick it up. Like it got dropped, I think, like a bunch of times because like people were like, yeah, we don't want anything to do with this movie.
Well, you had Oliver Reed as the lead role, and huge actor back then. For him to do something like that was like pretty
Yeah, he looks
out of
extremely
nowhere.
familiar. Like what else was he in?
a bunch of like big old movies.
Yeah, because I was like, why do I know this guy? I was like, this is he wasn't in the Abominable Dr. Fives, so
No, he was in like Oliver. He was actually in The Brood.
Oh, okay.
Well, like most like in all of his older stuff, he was just like a big like action
Okay.
and like you know what I mean, so
That
stuff
makes
like
sense.
that. But
Interesting.
what I was gonna say, because you were talking about the Shudder thing,
Yep.
with those guys kind of seeking out this, that was another movie that was super hard for people to find for a really long time. There's actually a cut where they like deface like a crucifix or something like during their orgy. It's something like insane, but that's like
this
cut.
was on Shudder. That's where I saw.
Yeah,
Was it on,
yeah.
I thought it was. It was a Prime, but it's always
Yeah.
intertwined.
Either
basically.
honestly, both of them have the best horror selection. I
Yeah, they
feel.
have.
For deep
Prime has
cuts.
the most tons of deep cuts, and Shudder even.
But they had that, so that scene, I guess, is just gone. Like,
Oh,
because
really?
you have to think, like, back then, obviously, they don't have digital, they have film. And those film reels, they get destroyed, they get burnt, they
once
get
it's
fucking
gone,
wrecked.
it's-
Like,
it's
so,
gone.
but I guess
Yeah.
it was blasphemous and it's gone.
Which I
So
can
this was
understand
like
for
the
that point in
best,
time.
most explicit cut, I think, that was able to be obtained. So there's also the whole Italian, European copyright laws
Yep.
that come into
Yeah.
play. So
Well, good for Shudder. Good for them.
Shudder fucking rocks, dude.
Yeah.
It really does. Really does. Ugh, they have so much good stuff. Anyway, anything else we want to talk about before we jump into another deep cut that we have tonight?
I got nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, that was all
Okay.
I got.
All right. So let's move on to tonight's movie. And I will apologize in advance. For
As we all will.
Yes, as for any mispronunciations of any
Yeah.
words, names, terms, anything that we mispronounce. This is our first foray into a purely foreign horror movie, I think,
Is it?
so far. I think I'm right. I think I'm right.
I think so too.
So we're talking about Tummbad, which is a 2018 horror movie that Andrew selected for us. It is an Indian horror movie that is completely in, I believe the language is Hindi.
Marathi?
Hindi and Marathi.
That's the accents.
I believe both of them. And there's a little bit of English from the douchebag English colonists that are there for a couple sentences at least. So you don't have to listen to every sentence in the movie in subtitles. But Andrew picked this, and I will say, Andrew, it seems to me that you like horror movies that serve as parables. You really must have liked Aesop's Fables as a kid.
I loved Aesop's.
Yeah,
Fables. I
that
used
seems
to,
about
like,
right. It
It
seems
was
like
just the way I was raised, I think.
lots of movies that you pick certainly seem to have some sort of moral or some sort of Twilight Zone twist to them, which I feel like, without spoiling the ending completely, because I guarantee you that 95% of the people that are listening to this episode right now, that listen to our show, maybe unless you're listening
Have not
in
seen this
India,
movie.
have probably not seen this movie. And if you are listening in India, hello, what's up? So Andrew, why'd you pick this movie? What was the thought process? What'd you like about it? Talk to us about Tummbad.
So, in general, I always like to try and I get bored looking for the same movie. So when something just sticks out to me and it's got an interesting, just real quick synopsis of the movie and it sounds like something I might be into, I'll try it out. And if I'll usually give it 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. And I'll make my decision from there. And what I like about this movie is what is big to me for most movies is just the cinematography of the movie is so beautiful. It's so well shot. And that I will literally watch the most boring movie ever if it is shot beautiful. Because I'm just going to be
I like that.
I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
And I'll end up watching the whole thing and be like, oh, that was boring. This movie's not boring. It's very entertaining. It's folky. It's got that folk horror aspect to it. I'm pretty sure it's also one of the first Indian horror movies. I don't think they had much else in this genre.
Some of the reviews I was reading was saying this is at least the first one that really takes itself seriously.
One of the most influential, if not the most. Yeah.
It's got a great story. Mike, you were comparing it earlier to Pan's Labyrinth. Because I was trying to think of what I would compare it to when I was telling you guys. I can't really think of it, but it's pretty much right on par.
Yeah.
Otherworldly.
Yeah, sure. I love when you get into folk, mythology, gods, goddesses. You can go so far with that type of stuff, and you can pretty much create your own universe because this isn't based off of actually any true mythology. Hastar, which I think is interesting, is they mentioned that he's one of those gods that never be known, basically. So they're kind of playing into the fact that he's unknown, so maybe he is a part of mythology, but isn't because he's known.
Feel free to correct us in the comments if
I think
anyone
Hastar
has
is
any
right.
information.
Yeah,
that part's
honestly,
right.
please, I know that we are going to butcher some of these names. So, again, we apologize in advance, and please just bear with us here. We're trying to do the best we can, all right? We're not professionals here.
It does a great job of building tension throughout the movie, and it seems like midway through the movie, when he's, collecting the coins and finding out the way of the coins, I love that whole just the way they shoot it in that aspect where it's really quick, fast pace, and it's back and forth, and he's going to get the coins. It's just it's just really well done. I think just the speed and the general direction of the movie, and I think it just moved at a very steady pace, and it doesn't disappoint really. For a movie that you had no idea that you were walking into, were you ever really bored watching it?
No, I wasn't. And what's funny is when I saw the runtime for this, which is 104 minutes, I was like, oh man, that seems long for a horror movie in general, but especially one that is I'm reading subtitles the entire time, which I think is one of the things that most American audiences need to get the fuck over,
dude,
myself included, because I had that thought process going into it, and I was very happy that I spent the time watching it. I have to say that. I didn't find myself looking at the time or my watch. I don't wear a watch, but if I had a watch, I wouldn't have looked at it once. I thought it was a very well-paced, tense movie, I would say. And again, this is my first experience with Indian horror. I enjoyed the movie quite a bit.
Most people experience.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact, you mentioned Pan's Labyrinth, which I compared this to. That's not one of my particular favorite movies. I like it. It's fine. We covered it on this show because Kat, our co-host, my wife, loves the movie to death. And it definitely has some horror elements.
It's gateway horror.
This is more horror, though, than Pan's Labyrinth.
I
thought,
dude.
for sure.
I find more
this
of a
movie was frightening, for
comparison,
sure.
even though it's not even the same movie as Apostle. I feel like it's more of a better comparison just because just the general theme of the movie.
I saw those Apostle comparisons because I know you kind of told me when you picked it, you were like, it's kind of like Apostle a little bit.
Because it's hard to find a movie to compare it to, really. I mean,
So I actually did find a weird, out of left field movie that we actually talked about on this show that I'll talk to you about in a second here, and you tell me if I'm if I'm wrong here. But so we talked about this being a parable. The parable for this movie is that basically greed ain't good. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Don't spit in the face of gods, and be thankful for what you got, because there are always people that are less fortunate than you. And this movie kind of fucking hits you over the head with a shovel with that type of message, right? In terms, again, of the Pan's Labyrinth connections with the fantasy storyline, the gruesome, I thought, yet very good practical effects, and even the stuff that you could tell, I think, was CGI, was still pretty good.
Yep.
Like the creature effects, the monsters looked convincing. Like, and I agree with you, Andrew. I thought this was beautifully shot. Like, this was, you can tell that there's a lot of money behind this, and it looked great.
It's very
the
orange.
Entire time. It looked awesome.
Very fiery.
You know how it was raining the whole time too? They shot it over
Yes.
4 monsoons, literally.
I had that written down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that.
It also
but
took forever for it to become
6
a movie.
years.
6 years.
6
And
years.
he wrote the first draft for this movie in 1997.
Seems like you scoured the
That's
same.
crazy, dude.
Seems like you scoured the same internet articles that I did before this movie because I
yes, there's
knew
only a
nothing
few.
about it. So strangely, this movie reminded me of Nightmare Alley. Okay, hear me out here. So Nightmare Alley was a movie that it's actually been remade. There's 2 versions. There's the original 1930s version, I believe, and the most recent version, which was directed by Guillermo del Toro, starring Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett,
You're not far
Rooney
off,
Mara,
actually, either. I'll agree with that.
Willem Dafoe. But I actually loved the movie.
Good movie.
It was probably the most non-horror movie that we've covered on this show to date, I would say. After seeing it, I was kind of underwhelmed by how un-horror it was, but it deals with a lot of dark themes and the dark side of humanity. This movie definitely deals a little bit more in the fantastical elements of, like, monsters, that type of thing. But essentially, Nightmare Alley and Tummbad both deal with, like, charming sociopaths who think they have a way to beat the system. Greed gets the best of them, and it ultimately ends up damning them to the fate that they thought they could avoid. It is a very similar story.
You're
the
not
characters are very similar, and the same fate befalls them at the end of both of these movies.
It's like, it's like an Indian mythological Scarface.
Right? Like, did you see the Del Toro Nightmare Alley with
I
Bradley Cooper?
have not, because
Solid
I wanted to watch the old
It
one
was
first.
very good. It was
And I
very
haven't
good, but I just kind of told you that it happens, but the same fate that befalls the character in this movie happens to the main character in Nightmare Alley in a different way.
He's a con man.
Kind of a little bit. They're both
right?
like really fucked up.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper plays like a con man,
Yeah.
and he thinks he has the system worked. He thinks he knows how to get over on everybody, and it turns out he tries to get over on the wrong person, and it ends up kicking him right in the fucking ass, and it destroys his life, which is essentially
as
what
greed
happens
will
to this
do.
movie.
That's very
exactly.
Tales from the Crypt.
Doesn't anybody know?
Twilight
Don't be
Zone,
greedy.
Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, Outer Limits, any of those types of shows, like those anthology shows that are meant to be, morality tales, parables, Andrew. So
Love parables.
yeah,
Always. Aesop's fables,
I dug
baby.
this movie way more than I thought I would. So
I did too.
Matt, what about you? Yeah, talk to us, Matt.
I was, like I said at the beginning, I kind of was a little, not necessarily intimidated, but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. Like, I was reading the short synopsis, and a lot of, like, the mythology stuff, it's so over my head.
It's really, like, you watch the movie, and then you go, so what happened?
Yeah, like, who,
Like, you
what,
really
what
have
is
to,
the,
like,
I felt
look
like there was
into-
something I was supposed to know before I watched it.
Exactly.
Like, there, you know what I mean? Like, I was supposed to, like, grow up hearing this tale. But then I looked into it, and obviously I was like, I found it fascinating the way it was made, and having it be, like, almost this, like, twisted fairy tale of a story. The monster, or the demon, I guess, Hastar, fucking dope, dude.
Awesome.
Mad, scary,
Amazing.
looking, crazy. First time I saw it, I was like, whoa, dude, like, that is fucking legit. Reminded me of the demons from the 80s, Night of the Demons.
We talked about that.
Yeah, you've seen that, right?
I've
when
seen
they have the
I
birthday
remember-
party.
See, I keep getting that confused with just Demons.
Demons. That's the movie theater.
At the
one.
movie theater.
Yeah.
yes. I don't know if I've actually seen Night of the Demons.
Night of the Demons is good. It's cheesy. You'll think
I
it's
would
cheesy,
remember, yeah,
but
80s.
it just reminded me of that. Just kind of like decrepit, like the nails in the face
Oh, yeah,
and like
dude, it's,
everything
like,
like that.
rugged, yeah.
Yeah, and just very like made almost like embedded with dirt and just like this, that, and the other thing. And then you just find out that it's just someone that's literally lived for mad long.
Like, it's way too long.
Yeah, and that she just like it's actually the kid's grandmother, and that she's just been cursed with this whole thing. So watching this movie, there was like certain elements that confused the absolute shit out of me. This is where I was kind of like, I feel like there's some sort of folklore that I just am supposed to know prior to watching this movie that I am completely ignorant to, that I don't know at all.
But in reality,
with the little dough dolls.
Yeah.
And then as it goes on, you realize
that part went right over my head.
Yeah,
the dough dolls.
It
I had no
it has
idea.
nothing to do with anything.
well, because they have all
It's
they
just a
have
folk-
is
their own
gold,
folklore.
and
Yeah.
they have no food.
Yeah,
So when you
so they
present
need
them with
flour.
food, but with all these flour dolls that they make, that's when you start seeing a shit ton of them because they're like, oh fuck, we're just making more of these.
Yeah,
things.
we're just.
Like,
This was a bad.
We're
idea.
regenerating them. Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't have brought all these dough dolls.
I don't think necessarily that if you don't understand the mythology of this movie, I feel like you can still understand the plot, which I
Yes.
feel like is a good thing. It's not a detriment.
I think I overthought it.
right?
I was like, at first I was like,
was
I feel
too.
like I need to know more.
It's
than
overwhelming
what I
when
went
you
into
start
this with.
watching it. 'cause you're
The
like,
first
what am
10
I
minutes,
doing?
I was like, what is fucking happening here? I was immediately on Wikipedia,
Yeah.
like, okay.
I feel like it's one of those movies. You feel free to Google while you're watching it. It's not going to ruin the movie. It actually will make
yeah.
it more enjoyable.
There's a lot of slow parts too, where you can kind of like glance up when someone's talking and catch the dialogue. There's a lot of just kind of little things, and then once the little boy first confronts the grandmother, that's for me when I was like, oh, okay, I'm in. Like
Yeah.
this is fucking intense. Like
Yeah,
that
dude,
lady
that
is
was
fucking scary.
I
lady.
almost got
yeah.
like demented, like Hansel and Gretel vibes
Kinda,
from
yeah.
that type of thing. You know?
What you know? What it's funny that you say that because I was thinking of Little Red Riding Hood.
okay.
there you go, yeah.
Where
She's a
she's
big
trying to
fan.
convince
More
her to
fables,
feed
huh?
her and
Yeah,
like
feed
you know what I mean. So
And then when he's trying to remember what he's supposed to say
Yeah.
to put her back to sleep.
because I'm like,
that
is
part's
this
so
like?
intense.
Does he know that she looks like this?
'Cause
Like,
if
is
you
she-
did,
you know what I mean?
why would
like
you go
that's
down
why
there?
I was confused. Like, is she like? Is this a monster that is just behind a door that is saying it's his grandma? And then he sees it face to face, and and then they have the whole like go to sleep or Hastar will come get you, and then they just go to sleep.
Right, but then like almost like she's chasing him at the beginning, and then when he ultimately goes back and she's turned into like a tree.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild. Look at
Like,
you, a tree's
like,
growing
then,
out of
then
you. I'm
she's
oh,
like
shit.
excited to see him. Like I don't
She's
like
excited to see him because she's like, please end
End
this.
this.
Or feed me
Or
or
feed
something.
me, or just
yeah.
do something because
Yeah.
I can't take anymore.
yeah.
This must sound outside of this conversation. People must be like, "What the fuck is this movie
Dude,
about?"
that's why you gotta watch the movie. Just you know what else I thought was another interesting tidbit is that the
I feel like we should get
one
like
of the
a small
actors in it,
synopsis.
Mohammed Samad, he plays two roles in the movie.
I did see this.
He plays Pandurang, Vinayak's son,
Okay.
Vinayak's son, and he also plays the grandmother. So
Oh,
he plays
wow.
the son and the grandmother,
I
Okay.
did not know that.
like the main character's son. later on.
okay.
Pandurang.
Okay. All right.
Pandurang?
So I think you're right in the pronunciations. Vinayak and Pandurang. That's how I.
That's how I would.
That's how I would pronounce them. So again, if we're wrong, forgive us. We're not trying to be
Let us
intentionally
know
disrespectful.
in the
So,
email.
forgive us. Want to talk some other movies that came out in 2018?
Why not?
Really, really fucking good for horror.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
Have we talked of
God.
any of these movies?
Do we have
We-
any
we-
international stuff that
we
we were
have.
able to rope into that?
I
Just
see.
'cause?
All the
No,
lists I pull from
okay.
are usually U.S. only. There's some foreign stuff in here, but like, dude, the U.S. list
Bangers.
slaps.
Yeah, it does.
Annihilation,
Good movie.
fantastic movie.
Great movie. Natalie Portman. Love her.
Bird Box, not that
I
great.
hated that. I hate Sandra Bullock too.
I also did not like Cam, which was another Netflix exclusive.
I never saw that movie.
It wasn't great. It was basically
I remember
like
you guys
if you
talking
were
about it.
an OnlyFans girl, but your OnlyFans account got possessed by like a sentient being. It was weird. It was kind of stupid.
Well, it's never a situation
Relatable.
I'll be in.
yeah.
So we'll get some of the bad ones out of the way first. The Cloverfield Paradox. That movie also stunk out loud, even though the other Cloverfield movies have been very good.
Yeah.
Do you ever see Cloverfield Paradox, either of you guys?
I saw that. It was terrible. It made no sense. I didn't know what was
A
going on.
great movie that we talked about in the 2010s draft, Ghost Stories. The English anthology
Oh,
with
with Martin Freeman?
Oh,
Phenomenal.
baby. I love that movie so much. Have you seen it?
2018.
Yes.
I thought that was a 1980s movie.
No,
No.
There's two movies called
Oh.
Ghost Story. This one is a 2018 anthology. It's an English movie directed by a guy named Adam Neiman, I believe. There's 3 stories. One of them stars Martin Freeman.
It's the first one, I think.
The third one.
Oh, is it the third one?
Yes.
So good.
First one's about the janitor at the abandoned asylum.
Yep.
Second one's about the kid with the demon possession thing. Third one is the Martin Freeman.
Can we bookmark this movie to talk about it next
Absolutely.
anthology? Because we're gonna get a
Oh my god, I
anthology.
love that movie. Also, I mean, say what you will about it, love it, hate it. The 2018 Halloween reboot came out that year.
Yeah, I
obviously.
liked it.
I was a fan of the first one.
Was that the first reboot? The first
Yeah.
zombie one?
No.
No,
No, this was
zombie
the one with the guy.
This
Kenny
is the
Powers.
direct. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Kenny Powers.
Okay, yeah,
called it.
I
Yep.
love that movie. That movie's really good.
That one's good. That
didn't think
one's
it was
very
bad.
good. Hereditary, all-time
Yeah.
classic.
Awesome.
1000%. We've said a lot about it on numerous occasions. Insidious, The Last Key. I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people aren't as much a
think I
fans.
saw that
It's
one.
fine. Mandy.
Oh yeah, this
Huge
movie is
movie.
fucking sick,
Oh, I didn't
dude.
see
Huge
Mandy
movie
with
with
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage.
Oh man,
That's a movie
you'd
you gotta
love this
Is it?
one.
Is
Yeah.
it a super Nicolas Cage movie? Is it
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's
Over the
actually
top.
it's not as bonkers Nicolas Cage as the trailers would lead you to believe.
It's pretty.
It's
bonkers,
actually very
though.
much
Amber
it's
Heard in that
bonkers.
movie, too?
No,
No.
it's fuck, what's her name?
She's in something else.
She's
very
in
recently, too.
fuck, I forget her name. But anyway, so the end of it is bonkers. Getting to the end
Andrea
is very
Riseborough.
slow. And yes,
Riseborough.
what else is she in? Oh, she's in something else that's very, very popular. Fuck.
Possessor.
Possessor. That's
Which
right. We
is
watched that
awesome.
together.
Possessor was super dope.
So
dude.
good.
Andrew, you would
Yeah.
love Mandy.
Yeah.
Also, if you want something that's the opposite spectrum of Mandy, a stupid, outrageous 80s throwback shark movie, The Meg, with Jason Statham, came out in
I
2018.
don't think I actually.
Decent
One of my
movie.
buddies loves this
Decent movie.
movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's
would
fine.
watch it. It's like Deep Blue
Yeah,
Sea,
yeah,
probably.
pretty much. Deep Blue Sea's better, but this movie's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, the worst
Do I wanna
movie,
watch this?
the worst movie in the Conjuring franchise, The Nun, came out in 2018.
Never saw it.
That movie stunk.
That movie is bad.
A great movie, Overlord, which I picked
Yeah, you
for my
like-
draft. I fucking love that movie. Awesome. Also, an underrated movie that got a bad rap, The Predator, directed by Shane Black, the latest Predator sequel before the new one
So
that
not
comes out this year
Predators?
called Prey. So Predators was the sequel before
Predators?
The Predator.
Did I see
think
The
it's so
Predator?
fucking confusing.
I'm very confused if I've
There's
seen
a
that.
lot
one.
of-
I don't know if I've
there's
seen
a lot
The
of-
Predator.
Me and my old roommate watched The Predator.
Yeah, that's
I
the
know
one
I've
with
seen Predator and
No, wait.
Wars.
Whatever one you're talking about that stinks. Is that The Predator or Predators?
Okay, so
I
Predators,
thought Predators was good. The one
Fucking
with
throwing myself
Topher
around.
Grace.
and Adrian Brody and
He's like a
Danny
serial
Trejo.
killer.
Whatever one came out in 2018, we watched, and
That's
it
the-
was bad.
That's the one with Boyd Holbrook and Olivia Munn, and
Yes.
we're basically. You didn't like that?
No.
Oh, see, I dug
I don't
that
know if
movie.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I thought Predators was awesome.
I loved Predators, and I actually thought The Predator was pretty good.
And what's the new one? Prey? Is it-
The new one's called Prey. Comes out this year.
Shouldn't it
I'm
be called
excited
like
for it.
Predators? That would be kind of.
Predators.
Prey-
That's probably will be the one that comes out after.
Maybe. Maybe.
Prey to the Tours.
We also got A Quiet Place in 2018, which say what you will about that movie. The first time I saw it in theaters, I enjoyed it, and I've liked it less and less every time I've seen it since. One of
Sorry.
Kat's favorite movies, so that should probably tell you what you need to know about it. An underwhelming sequel that was still okay. The Strangers Prey at Night.
Never saw that.
I didn't
Never.
see that one
No?
either. No.
You mean The Strangers Predators?
The Strangers Predators has our good old friend Christina Hendricks and her
Big bosoms.
beautiful eyes and a few other people in
Is
it.
that the redhead chick from Mad Men?
Yeah.
There is.
Oh, okay.
We also got a great double feature with some Stranger Things. Summer of '84, which is
Oh.
on Shudder. That
I only
movie
watched the first one.
fucking rocks. Wait, what? There's only one. Summer
what
of
am I
'84.
thinking of?
Oh, dude, you're thinking of Fear Street.
Fear
'Cause
Street.
I just did the
Street.
same thing. I was
Yeah.
like, that came out in 2018.
Summer of '84.
Did
It's
I even
on.
see that now?
It's on.
I can't remember.
Shudder.
There's too many things.
There's
I can't
too many.
remember.
It's
what
too much.
I
It's
need to
too
keep a
much.
list, and
It's
I
too
keep
much.
not doing
I
that.
have enough friends. I can't have any more.
I got too many.
Suspiria remake.
Meh.
I know you're.
Wicked long.
Yeah.
I wasn't really that much of a fan. I like
think
the
I
I
watched-
like the original so much that I think that the new one was just. I don't want to go as far to say it was blasphemy.
It's,
but
it's,
I think
it's,
this is
it's,
not
it's
good.
almost one of those movies that why
Didn't
are
have
you
to be
making
remade.
a remake? Because I think I watched like 30 minutes of that movie and I fell asleep.
I hope that all it did was get more people to watch the original one and appreciate that one and be like, oh, this movie's fucking rad.
Yeah. And then to finish out the year 2018, 3 movies beginning with you that are of
Us.
varying quality: Unfriended Dark Web,
Not sure what that is.
Unsane, and Upgrade.
Upgrade's
Upgrade's a
dope.
dope movie.
Yeah, that movie's
Upgrade?
sick.
I've never.
That's the
It's
best
wild,
of the 3.
dude.
Is
It's
it?
kind of like more of like an action thriller, but
Yeah.
it's super fucking violent.
It's incredibly like
Yeah. So violence.
RoboCop like violence,
but like with like
Insane.
today's
Yeah.
really good effects.
Unsane, if I remember correctly, is a Soderbergh movie that is about. I think he shot it on like an iPhone, which like, cool, bro. You're a movie director. Shoot it on real
Is
cameras.
this like a promo for iPhones?
It's about a woman that gets trapped in an insane asylum, something like that. And then Unfriended Dark Web was like a Blumhouse type movie that Kat would like.
The
Is
more,
that
the
the,
more
like-
Blumhouse movie I hate Blumhouse.
Is that like the Zoom?
No, you're thinking of what was the Fuck, what was the name of the Shudder exclusive Zoom movie that came out during the pandemic that was actually really good?
You got me.
Fuck. It wasn't Unfriended, though. It wasn't
No?
Unfriended. It was something else. It was something
I
else.
feel like it was
Dude,
called,
I'm done
I
with
feel like
these
that was
Hulu
also just
Blumhouse
called Cam.
movies.
Cam, we just talked about. Fuck, what was it
I
called?
think it was Unfriended. Is that not the one?
Oh, it's gonna piss me off so much. I know I posted something about it on our
Wait,
Instagram
is that
page.
the one about the dude who does like his own YouTube
It very well may
pages? Is that
be.
the one that you're thinking
It
of?
very well may be. I'll tell you in 1 second.
You know, hey, while you're looking that up, you know what else did come out in 2018 that is in fact a foreign film?
What's that?
Gaspar Noé's Climax.
Hey,
Found it.
That movie's
no
fucking
way.
insane. Seriously, if you guys,
I gotta get
gotta
more.
watch
That's
that.
I
Dude.
gotta watch more. That's Italian.
That's a
right?
good French.
Oh,
that's
French.
a good movie to eat an edible at the beginning
Ooh.
and just go nuts with the whole movie.
Descend.
Is there ever
Yeah.
been a movie that's
Into
not
madness?
good to watch after?
Well,
you
this
eat
one
it?
especially, but just like don't go nuts. Don't eat like 100 milligrams.
What
but,
you
like-
need to do is you need to send me a list of every foreign movie I need, and then I can just chip away at it because you
can do
say
that.
these names and then I immediately go, "What was that?"
I've
movie?"
been into these kind of movies since I was like 15. So I've had this kind of like.
So don't send me the entire list.
Yeah.
Send me like.
Well, I
five.
mean, but I've like a lot of
Top
them I've
five,
watched a
and
long
then-
time
yeah,
ago.
So top five, send
Yeah.
that over. Then I can chip away at that like once every.
Because they're all on the top of the most brutal.
Because
movies,
I do like
so.
every time I watch a foreign film, I generally enjoy it.
Yeah, there's been
I never
very
have
few
like
that I
a very.
dislike.
I never am like that movie sucked. Oh, that was good.
The Shudder original Zoom movie, by the way, is called Host.
Oh yeah, dude, that
Host
that
is
was like a big.
dope.
Yeah,
It's
I
huge
yeah.
when it came
I
out.
can't
think
believe
I
you
saw
just
that
dropped the
movie.
ball on that.
It's very good. Very, very, very good.
I guess that dash cam movie is supposed to be a lot like that.
Same director.
Yeah.
Same director.
Okay, that makes
Yep.
sense.
So, yeah.
I almost actually rented that the other day because it's available on Vudu to rent for like $5.
So, like, found footage gets a bad rap. I love found footage.
as long as it's fucking
Underrated
not
found footage that we
stupid.
didn't talk about during found footage was The Conspiracy. Did you ever see that movie?
I love that
That movie's
movie.
fucking
Oh,
awesome,
that's
and
a
we didn't
great
bring that
movie.
one up either.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Also, another good one is the Area 51 movie by Oren Pelly, who did the original Paranormal Activity. So we have a lot of ideas bouncing around in our heads for
Just
Jantology.
madness. People are
two.
like, "What are you guys even
Electric
talking
Boogaloo.
about?"
Yeah, I know, right? We're just morons. All right, let's see. What else can we talk about here with Tummbad? Let's see. So we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but so the city of Tummbad in India
Real
actually
place.
exists, but the folklore is not present anywhere. This was all made up for the movie.
No, it isn't. Not completely. They do believe that there is a treasure.
You went
somewhere
to
in
India and
Tumbbad.
found this out?
No, I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Let me specify my sources.
That's okay. That's fine. I believe. I believe you. I believe you. It's okay.
Well, I can't. It's
That's
gone.
fine.
I missed my Google page.
Let's see. You also talked about this a little bit, Andrew, but director, let's see if I can get this here. Director Rahi Anil Barve wrote the first draft for this movie in 1997 when he was just 18 years old.
Wow,
That's wild.
that's impressive.
Pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
And that he stuck with it this long, like, and finally got it.
I wonder
made.
how much like rewrites and you know what I mean, like
Probably
plot
a
changes
lot.
and
Yeah.
things he went through.
I did read that there were a lot of plot changes and second drafts, third drafts, fourth drafts. It's actually a pretty extensive like Wikipedia page in this movie, like a lot of stuff about it.
Yeah, the thing that I read was pretty.
I just kind of cherry picked a little bit of some of the most interesting stuff here. It is based on a story written by popular Marathi author Narayan Darab. That's correct. Narayan Darab. Andrew, you talked about this. The movie was shot for 6 years. The scenes shown in the city of Tumbbad, which gets rain throughout the year, were shot over 4 different monsoons over 4 years. That's an insane
wild, dude.
commitment to the filmmaking
Yeah, how do you
process.
like even have the actors?
Well, they
look-
also said that they did a lot of dubbing over in this movie because you couldn't hear anything outside of the rain. So they had to dub it over. And then also the main actor, too, also they did a lot of dubbing over because he wanted to make sure that Mathari accent would. So there was tons of dubbing over.
with
in
those
this
like
movie.
younger boys too. You got to make sure that their voices don't change
Yeah,
overnight
yeah,
too.
six. Like
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
other
6
wild
years,
thing too. Like
yeah.
you've been filming this movie for so long. Like, does
Yeah.
you have to like change actors like
So
midway through?
I also did see, so the main actor, he basically stayed in the same physical shape, which was not his actual physical shape for 6 years. Like he looked pretty like buff, like to
Lean.
portray like
Lean.
that character. So he did that physical regimen for 6 years. Which I mean, hey, good on you, bro.
Dude, that's
I
type
was
of
gonna say,
kid.
so
I
he
can't
just-
do it for 6 months.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
he
type
just
of
did what people are
commitment-
just supposed to do.
This movie deserves all the accolades
Because
it gets.
he kind of looked like a fucking stud. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like he's got like the he's got the mustache with the twirling, and he's got like the girls like all over him. He's got a ton of money. He's kind of just like he's a total asshole, but like
I feel like he was just off beating up Mario, stealing all his gold coins. Though. Give me
Well,
your
it
coins,
was funny like when I was
Bing.
watching it when like in the myth that the demon keeps the gold coins in its loincloth.
Yeah.
And like the kid kind of like swipes at his loin like and you just see like it's just like he like farted treasure.
Yeah,
yeah, seriously, like never-ending spray.
It's like he's like hitting the like
Yeah.
the block above his head, like
Yeah.
stealing all the coins.
Right?
So good.
Just the perfect like quintessential like coins hitting the floor sound effect. Yeah.
Right? Oh, of course. And this movie, Tummbad, the first ever Indian film to open the prestigious Critics' Week section of the Venice International Film,
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
which is pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, this is definitely like I know that Indian cinema in general is huge
yeah, Bollywood's
across
massive.
the world, Bollywood. Not necessarily as huge here in the States, but I would say if you're looking to get into foreign cinema and you're a horror fan, this is a great movie to like get started with. The plot is pretty easy to follow. It's interesting.
Yes. Is it?
Well, I
I'm
feel like
very confused by this.
again.
After
if you-
reading it,
Yeah.
it
So read
definitely-
it first.
yeah.
Read first, then watch.
if you ignore the mythology of the first 5 minutes, I almost think that's a detriment to the movie. Like I feel like they could have done a different way with that. But like honestly, the rest of the movie is pretty easy
Yeah,
to follow.
Yeah.
it's just that beginning part, like that
That, like,
sets you up for
animation,
confusion.
too.
It's
I
not
was
the
like, is
it's
this
not
animated?
like it's not the type of story that's never been done before. It's kind of like there have been
But
similar
when you get
stories
people
in
outside
other
of their
cultures.
comfort zone, it makes things a little
Agreed.
more
And you
difficult.
combine that with the subtitles. I would understand if like some American audiences were a little bit reluctant to give this a shot. I would argue that you will be rewarded handsomely if you do give it a chance.
Here's the main problem with American audience.
Idiots.
You can't take your head or your face from staring at your phone. So
Yeah.
how are you going to watch a movie with subtitles?
True.
That's why nobody watches movies with subtitles, because nobody wants to put the time.
That's why I've
and
been watching more subtitles.
You take your phone and you shove it up your ass and you watch the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Kat could never watch this movie because she can't watch subtitles. That's why she didn't want to watch it.
Honestly, I love her to death, and she's our co-host. She has watched every second of this season of Stranger Things on her phone, and I'm like, "Are you?" She's like, she'll
what's
get up.
wrong?
She'll get up to go to the bathroom or whatever, and she's like, "Can you pause this?" She'll immediately come back to the couch and go right back to her phone. Yeah, you can unpause it, and I'll be like, "Are you even watching? Like, what just happened?"
Well, you
and she's
can
like,
listen,
"Yeah, I saw it."
so
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
listening, but you can't do that with. That's why nobody watches subtitles. I'm 100% certain
Yeah.
that is the reason. If you cannot be on your phone and watch the movie, we have this. We have no patience for.
She's
anything.
not. She's not alone. I understand.
No, it's not just her.
It's an
It's
epidemic.
everybody.
I hate to use that word, but it's a problem with a lot of people that they dig their phones. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's
So-
concentration 19. It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
COVID 19. It's concentration.
We've been pretty good right now, other than looking up notes, I think.
Oh well, I mean, I feel like when we
The
are,
fact that we sat through the entire movie and read the subtitles
Yeah.
and watched the movie, that's more than anybody's willing to
104 minutes.
do.
Dude,
That's a
I've been
long movie.
I've been watching things with subtitles on them, even if they're in English.
Yeah.
Just because mostly,
But
if I'm watching,
you're a special breed.
Andrew's
but if I'm
Andrew's
also watching a
big
movie with
proponent
a
of that.
sleeping baby next to me, and I
but
need
also,
it to not be loud.
I need subtitles because a lot of times the music is so loud and the sound
And the
effects,
yeah.
and you can't hear what the fuck anybody's saying.
Yeah.
God forbid if it's a movie with like Cockney accents and stuff like that. I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, like The Lighthouse.
I need some subtitles. Yeah.
Lighthouse is a movie that's in 100% English that you would benefit from.
I guess
Also,
the Northman is also like
I
that.
can't-
I haven't seen it
yet.
but
I want
I've
to see it
heard
so bad.
My buddy said watch it with subtitles.
Apostle, another
Also,
one.
the other
Another
great
one.
thing about subtitles too is like there's parts of movies where there's dialogue written, but it's never meant to be heard. But then you'll read it and you're like, who just said that?
Yeah.
It's like some weird line.
See, it's
I
funny.
just think I like my
You can
brain
ingest
gets
it
better.
easier
Yeah.
because you're hearing it, you're reading it, you're seeing it, you're burping it.
There you
Yeah.
go. Burping.
Yes,
it.
that
smelling
smell
it.
like it's
I,
done.
I always think about you guys seen Snatch, the
Yes.
what's it called, Guy Ritchie movie with
Yeah.
Brad Pitt and Benicio del Toro. The part when Dennis Farina shows up in England and he's trying to find Frankie fucking Four Fingers, and he says, "Jesus Christ, I've been walking around this country for 4 fucking hours. I can't understand a fucking word anyone says. Didn't you people invent the fucking language?" That's what I think of the entire time when I'm watching a lot of British movies. Like, yeah, wow,
100%.
this is
Trainspotting,
like,
dude?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah, you need a little bit of guidance.
Well, even with the
Because
subtitles,
even when you're
I'm
reading
still
it,
like,
you
I don't even
still
know
don't
what,
know
I
what
still don't know
anybody's
what the fuck he's
saying.
I'm looking for Frankie fucking Four Fingers. Movie rocks too. It's a great
Trainspotting is
movie.
definitely one to note for like non-horror horror movies.
Depressing.
very depressing.
Yeah, there's some
Upsetting.
scary fucking scenes in that movie, though.
Yeah. So, guys, wow, pretty good here. Anything else on Tummbad that we want to talk about?
I enjoyed it. It was, I definitely was pleasantly surprised.
Underrated soundtrack. I really liked.
I did like the
the music
music.
was
I
cool.
did like the music, and I liked the subtitles. Had all the lyrics of the music
Yeah.
throughout the entire
Dude,
thing. I was
see,
like,
so-
that's pretty
so
cool.
I was
like,
watching
that's
this
pretty
Sunday
awesome.
while Layla was taking a nap, and she did get a good nap in because I watched this whole movie and then I watched Lux Aeterna, which is another 50 minutes. So she napped for a while.
That's 3
Oh,
hours.
that's good
Right?
nap.
yeah, so
Good
she
nap.
crushed
Yeah,
it.
at least.
There's a little over 2, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Close to 3.
Yeah,
But
right around there.
yeah, she woke up to the strobing light, so I was like, I gotta probably turn away from this. I don't know what. Yeah, she might freak out.
Yeah.
But and like I was reading the subtitles. I had the volume down, so the actual music I couldn't hear much of. But I was reading the lyrics, and I was like, "Who the fuck's talking?"
Well, they never do that. Like
I know,
never
it
think
was-
there's lyrics,
but it
in
must
the-
have been.
like there was a
tied in,
reason they
yeah.
were showing you that.
Like, imagine watching, like, Superbad with the subtitles on and seeing, like, the lyrics to Panama on the screen when, like, they're crashing the
Why do they keep
car.
yelling
Like, it was so
Panama?
fucking awesome.
Dude, I would be like, is this karaoke? Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, but I honestly, I would say to you, listener, maybe you are a watcher of foreign films. Maybe you're not. If you're not, diversify
You should
yourself a
be.
little bit. Watch.
You
Go
gotta
outside your
diversify
comfort zone.
bonds.
Quote Dave Chappelle: "You need to diversify your bonds, motherfucker." And watch something outside your comfort zone. Watch something that you haven't heard of. Expand your horror horizons.
You will be pleasantly
Yeah.
Andrew, great call. Yes,
Yeah.
great call.
I'm very happy. When Matt responded in the group text message with that was interesting. I was like, I don't know what that means. I mean, yes, no, maybe so. But yeah, it's one of those like, what can it hurt? Just watch it.
And I
If
told
you don't like
this.
it, turn it off. Just give it a whirl.
Yeah, try just
Just
read enough
try
stuff on your
something.
phone, dude. Like read.
Yeah,
of course.
What's
fucking
wrong
something.
with
read
reading?
Read a book.
I
Right.
hate reading.
Motherfuckers.
How many books do
Yeah.
I read? 0.
Yeah.
But I will watch a movie with subtitles. So if I can watch a movie with subtitles and you like, because I will do it because I like horror movies. Of
course.
So pull it together, people.
And again,
Jesus.
it's funny because Kat's not here right now. I feel like this is a movie that Kat would actually like. I
Yeah,
really do.
I feel like this is
honestly,
right
I
up
honestly
her
believe,
alley.
like, if like gun to my head, Mike, will Kat like this movie or not? Or I'm gonna blow your brains out. I'm gonna say, yeah. she
That's why I was
probably
very
would.
upset that she
Yeah.
didn't watch it because I'm like,
Yeah.
damn it, Kat, this is another
Well,
one.
tell her.
that you would
Tell her
like.
next time
Maybe
you see
she'll
her how
watch it
upset you
and
are.
then she'll give a little
Yeah.
brief. I liked it.
She can watch it on her
in
own.
the next
accord.
in the next episode.
That should be her homework assignment. If she wants to be back on the show next week, she should
You
give
want
us
to
a
be a
full
part of this
report
podcast?
on
I want a
Tummbad.
full
I
report.
want a full report.
Full book
full,
report.
full
You had
solo
No cliff
podcast.
notes. No fucking cliff notes.
You had to watch Hocus Pocus. You had to watch Pan's Labyrinth. She fucking owes it to you to watch this movie.
Dude, you know how many bad movies I've watched that
Oh,
she
of
suggested?
course.
And Happy Death Day, too. I like that.
Happy
movie,
Death
so
Day.
I
You
can't
did like
say
Happy
anything
Death Day, so you can't talk about that. She also vetoed Kill List. We watched that movie, and
We watched
she
it.
was
Have you
like,
ever seen Kill
no.
List? They didn't like it.
I didn't like it either, actually, but she.
We were going to do it,
hated
but it was my pick, and then we just
She was like,
stopped
I don't
it.
want to do that movie.
I was like, I don't like this. I was
okay,
like,
cool.
well, you guys are...
I can't.
I like
That's
that
fucked.
movie.
I would have been
I
like,
like
oh.
that movie. Like,
That's gonna
and I was
happen.
like,
I'm gonna request the movie, and you guys can be like,
I'll
"Ah,
still
I
talk about though. I'll
Let me-
talk
let me
about it. And
tell
I'll
you.
go like, I hate this movie. And, I'll say,
And again,
fine.
this is how much my opinion turned. I was fully prepared when I watched this, before I watched this movie, to be like, Andrew, I can't believe you picked this movie. But I stand corrected. Again, I stand corrected. Okay? So, hey,
It is a good movie.
again,
for sure.
again, just, hey, reserve judgment, go outside your comfort zone, watch something you've never heard of. Hey, you may even learn a little bit. Right?
You may learn that don't be so fucking greedy.
Right.
The other thing,
Don't
too,
be so fucking greedy.
is that the people that complain that all horror movies are doing in America right now is reboots and remakes, and they don't like those.
Guess what isn't?
And then they don't want to see the mainstream horror stuff of The Conjuring and The Insidious and that kind of thing, the Blumhouse movies.
These are for
And
you.
then they also have an issue with the fucking A24 because they're just art house films and
Yeah.
they're too slow, blah, blah, blah. I guess if you watch a foreign movie, A24 definitely is the closest thing to watching a foreign horror movie as you can
Yes.
get. But I will say, if you have all these qualms with horror in America that are being made now, go fucking watch a foreign horror movie.
Yeah, you'd be
You'd
surprised.
be like, wow, what the fuck have I been missing for all of eternity?
Incredibly
that
well said.
movies have been
People
made.
could just
Like,
get over subtitles. I don't know why it's so difficult.
they will.
Dude, do you ever watch that show Dark?
No.
Great show.
That's
Great
a-
show. Yeah, and actually, they have a
That's
new
German,
show coming out.
It's talk about confusing. Yeah,
Well,
watch
dude,
it.
like
The
think
most
about
incredible-
silent
yeah.
movies back in the day. That's all they could do was read the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like you can't if you're a horror fan and you haven't watched fucking Nosferatu.
Yeah, get fucked.
Yeah.
Dark is the most confusing show I've ever watched, but it
It's
is
so
incredibly rewarding. And they actually have a new show coming out on Netflix that's a horror show, and the trailer is out, and it looks phenomenal. So
Cool.
it's called 1899.
Hopefully it lasts more than one season.
More on that later. So, all right, guys. Anything else on Tummbad before we wrap this shit up?
I got nothing. Watch it.
Well, I'll say.
Shut up.
I'll
Watch
say it was good. I liked it. In
It's on
caps
Amazon
there,
Prime.
okay?
If you have
Yeah,
Amazon Prime,
It's free. You can watch it for
Fully
free.
free.
Yeah.
Watch it
Or
for
if you,
free.
if you
As
pay
long
a
as you pay
monthly
for Amazon
subscription.
Prime.
Yeah, as long as you give
Like,
Amazon
Who doesn't have Amazon?
so much money per
People spend so much money on Amazon.
Okay. Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the show, you guys. If you don't subscribe to us yet, here's where you can find us on the following podcast platforms: Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, and probably a bunch of other places that we haven't even heard of. Maybe a bunch of places in India. Hello. And,
like this is the one episode no one in India listens to.
Right?
Yeah,
They're all like,
movie?
fuck that
Or I don't
movie.
care what their opinion is on that movie.
Exactly. So.
Idiots. Stupid Americans.
Anyway, it's been the three amigos tonight, the three boys, sans cat. So, guys, did you have fun tonight? I had a good time.
I had a
Yeah.
blast.
It was awesome. It's been real. It's been fun. We'll be back next week with something else that we've yet to determine, followed by the Black Phone the following week. Guys, say good evening to your listeners. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening.
We just need to make some T-shirts up that just say
Good evening.
with
Oh, that would be
Vincent
so
Price's
great.
face.
Bye.
That'd be sick.
That'd be ill.
Later. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.